Now it's time to go ahead and install the processor to the motherboard. This is the socket where the processor goes. There's a lever here. This has to do with AMD processors. Intel processors install a bit different. However, on the AMD processors, you lift this locking lever to open up the socket. You will take your processor and just drop it down into place. And always be careful when handling a processor. You do not want to touch these pins because they can be easily bent and damage the processor, make it useless. Which this processor here cost about $180, so it's a lot of money for something to get damaged. There's a on the socket there is a triangle. You want to line the processor triangle. You want to line that up with the triangle on the socket. Just drop it right down into place. Preferably hold a finger on it to hold it down. Lock the lever. Processor is installed. Now it's time to go ahead and unbox the cooler for the processor. Here is the box to our aftermarket CPU core. Ooh, this is one nice cooler. And of course here is the adapters for Intel and AMD. These little screws that screw it onto the base of the cooler. Not to mention it also comes with some thermal compound. Oh, this is nice. Very nice. 4 U-shaped heat pipes. And the base looks decent on this one. It's lapped very well. This cooler was only like 20-something bucks, so this is definitely very good priced cooler. The construction is very good. Very shiny cooler. 92mm fan. And of course this here is a piece of plastic protecting the base, because you want these to be smooth when you install them onto your processor. And before we can install this to the motherboard, we have to install the adapter that goes to the AMD base systems. This here we'll have to go ahead and remove this plastic and take that off. Very, very nice finish. As you can see me on the bottom of the cooler. When the coolers are this smooth, the transfer is unbelievable. The temperatures of the CPU will always be good and cool when you have great transfer. Go ahead and install the adapter for the AMD processors, which I kind of like. This it has these little things on both sides. This will probably make it easy to install. Now it's time to go ahead and install and apply some thermal compound. In a lot of cases like this, I do not recommend using the compound that comes with the coolers. I tried this and I was not impressed at all. Right when I was even putting it out onto the base of the cooler, the stuff was so thick. It looks like the stuff that they actually include like in an OEM system, like an E-machine or something. Don't use that. Don't use this stuff. Use something aftermarket like Arctic Silver 5 or even the Best Buy brand of thermal compound. This Dynex stuff will work pretty well. I've used it plenty of times and I'm highly impressed with it. So we'll use that for this build. I typically like thermal compound that's silver and is easy to spread out on the base of the cooler. Just spread a decent amount out like that. Go ahead and put the cap back on the syringe of the thermal compound. Set it aside. And you want to take a spreader card. A credit or debit card or a driver's license will work as well, as long as it is like in a form like that. Go ahead and spread this stuff out. Apply the stuff to where it's good and thin, so that way it'll make a really good transfer with the CPU. Which spreading the compound out on this cooler is a breeze because the base is so smooth. I am highly impressed with this cooler. I think I will start using this cooler in my own applications. For 20-something bucks, you cannot beat this. His quality of construction. I have to say, Rosewell done a really good job with this cooler. By the way, it comes with an LED fan. Now that's done, it's time to go ahead and install the cooler to the processor. But first, I recommend, if you have touched your hands on the top of the heat spreader of the processor, I recommend that you clean it off with some kind of alcohol or even glass cleaner will work. I've used it plenty of times and it does just fine. Which, if you have watched my previous video of installing a CPU cooler in terms of a heat pipe cooler, you'll remember me discussing how you want the heat to flow up or back toward the rear fan. In this case, since the motherboard has the orientation like this with the clips on vertically, you want the fan to be blowing up through the heat pipe cooler up toward the top of the case. So we'll go ahead and take the cooler and install it like so. Oh, this cooler is very easy to install. I have to say, I am very impressed with Rosewell's offering here for like 20-something bucks. You can't beat this. Once that's clipped into place, the cooler is now installed. The installation of the cooler you use may vary. The clip design will vary on a lot of coolers. But once you have the cooler installed, you will want to plug this plug to the CPU fan into the header on the motherboard. Go ahead and do that now. That's a must to remember, because if you don't, your processor will overheat quickly within a matter of minutes, depending on how much stress is on it. And always make sure you plug in your fan.